Money is one of the most misunderstood parts of our lives. Most people grow up thinking money is this complicated, intimidating thing that only certain people know how to handle. They believe you have to be born into wealth, or you need some kind of insider knowledge, or you have to wait until life magically works out to feel secure with money. But the truth is, money isn't nearly as complicated as it looks. It's not about luck, and it's not about waiting. It's about learning to see money differently. It's about building the courage to look it in the eye and say, you don't get to control me, I get to control you. Think about how many times in your life money has dictated your decisions. You wanted to take that trip, but you didn't. You wanted to leave that toxic job, but you felt stuck because you couldn't afford the risk. You wanted to give your family more, but you couldn't because the paycheck kept disappearing. That's what happens when money controls you. It makes the decisions. It sets the limits. And you end up shaping your life around what you can't afford instead of shaping your money around the life you want. That's why this conversation matters, because control of your money is really control of your freedom. So where does control actually begin? It begins with the way you make money. Now, when I say make money, I don't mean chasing every trend or trying to gamble your way into success. I mean, this money is a reward for the value you bring. If you can solve a problem for someone, if you can bring a skill to the table, if you can offer something that makes another person's life easier, better, or more enjoyable, the world will pay you for it. That's all money really is, an exchange of value. So the question becomes, are you making yourself more valuable? Are you growing your skills, improving your knowledge, taking risks, and putting yourself in places where opportunity can find you? Because if you stay the same, if you refuse to grow, if you sit back and hope the world somehow recognizes you, money will stay scarce. But when you decide to get better, when you decide to sharpen your tools, when you say, I'm going to bring more to the table, money starts to flow differently. It starts to respond to you. And the beauty of that is when you understand that making money is tied to the value you create, you stop feeling like a victim. You stop waiting for someone to save you, and you start realizing you already have the power to create change. But here's the part people get wrong: making money isn't enough. You can make 6 figures and still be broke. You can have a big paycheck and still be drowning in debt. If all you ever do is make money and spend it, you'll always live in the cycle of stress. Control doesn't come from how much you make. It comes from what you do with what you make. That's why saving is the second piece of the puzzle. Saving is not just about putting money in a jar or stashing it away for a rainy day. Saving is about building a buffer between you and chaos. It's you saying, I'm not going to let life catch me off guard anymore. Think about it. Emergencies are not a matter of if. They're a matter of when. The car will break down. The medical bill will come. The unexpected expense will hit. And if you're living with nothing set aside, every little emergency turns into a crisis. But if you've built the habit of saving, those emergencies are just inconveniences. You don't panic. You don't lose sleep. You handle it and you keep moving. And don't tell yourself, well, I don't have enough to save. That's not true. You don't start saving because you're rich. You get rich because you start saving. Even if it's just a few dollars at first, the habit is what matters. Because saving isn't just about money. It's about discipline. It's about self-respect. It's about telling yourself, I'm worth protecting. My future is worth investing in. My peace of mind is worth more than this impulse purchase. Every time you save, you're not just stacking dollars. You're stacking confidence. Now, once you've learned how to save, you unlock the third and most powerful step: investing. This is where most people hesitate because it feels risky. It feels overwhelming. They think investing is only for the wealthy, or for people who went to business school, or for those who spend their lives glued to stock charts. But here's the truth: investing is not about being an expert. It's about being intentional. It's about taking the money you've saved and putting it to work for you. Because if all you do is save, you'll never outrun inflation. Your money will lose value sitting in a bank account. But if you invest, you give your money the chance to multiply. Think about it this way: when you invest, your dollars become employees. They go out and work while you sleep, while you rest, while you live your life. They start earning for you instead of you always earning for them. That's the flip. That's when you stop chasing money and start building wealth. And wealth isn't about greed. It's about freedom. It's about choices. It's about knowing that your future is secure, that your family is safe, that you have the flexibility to say yes to opportunities and no to situations that don't serve you. The journey of making, saving, and investing isn't perfect. You'll mess up. You'll overspend sometimes. You'll make an investment that doesn't pan out. But control doesn't mean perfection. Control means intention. It means you know where your money is going. It means you've created a plan and you're sticking to it. It means you stop letting your emotions and impulses drive your financial life and start letting wisdom and discipline lead the way. And here's the most important thing to remember: money itself doesn't bring happiness. It doesn't fix every problem. But money under control brings peace. It brings security. It gives you the ability to take care of the people you love, to pursue the things that matter to you, to live without the constant stress of what if. When you take control of your money, you stop being a prisoner of your circumstances. You stop living on the edge of panic. You start living with confidence, with clarity, and with freedom. So let me ask you, are you making your money work for you, or are you still working for it? Are you deciding where your money goes, or are you letting it slip through your fingers without a plan? Because at the end of the day, control is a choice. And the moment you decide to make that choice, everything begins to change. Most people don't realize how much power money has over them until they stop and actually look at their life. Think about it. How many decisions have you made in the last year that were driven not by what you wanted, not by what was best for you, but by what your money situation allowed? You stayed at a job you hated because you couldn't afford to quit. You didn't take that opportunity because the risk felt too big. You told yourself, maybe someday, when what you really meant was, I don't have the money right now. And I want you to think about how heavy that really is. Because if money can dictate your choices, then money can dictate your entire future. And that's why learning to control your money isn't about becoming rich. It's about reclaiming your freedom. The first step in taking control is clarity. And let me tell you, most people never take this step. They live in denial. They spend, they swipe, they hope everything balances out, and they avoid opening their bank statement like it's some kind of haunted house. But the truth is, you can't change what you refuse to face. You can't control what you won't look at. So clarity starts when you sit down, open that account, and ask yourself the hard question, where is my money actually going? Not where I think it's going, not where I tell myself it's going, but where it's actually flowing every single day. When you start tracking it, you'll notice something: money leaks. Tiny expenses you thought didn't matter pile up and become whole paychecks over time. That daily coffee, those quick takeout meals, the subscriptions you forgot about. They're not just small purchases. They're silent thieves. And when you see it on paper, it shocks you. But don't let that shock paralyze you. Let it empower you. Because clarity isn't about shame. It's about awareness. Once you know, you can change. The second step is ownership. Because let's be real, it's easy to blame. It's easy to say, well, the economy is bad, my boss doesn't pay me enough, life is unfair. And while those things might all be true, the problem with blame is that it steals your power. If everything is someone else's fault, then you're stuck waiting for someone else to fix it. And waiting is the opposite of control. Ownership says, maybe my circumstances aren't perfect, maybe I've made mistakes, but I still have the power to decide what I do next. That's where your strength comes from. That's where change begins. Once you have clarity and ownership, you can start to build the plan. And the first part of that plan is about how you make money. Look, opportunities don't just fall into your lap. You create them. And creating them means increasing the value you bring. It means asking yourself, what skill can I learn? What problem can I solve? What service can I provide? The world rewards people who show up with value. So if you're underpaid, if you're stuck, don't just sit there. Grow. Take a class. Learn a trade. Start a side hustle. Try something new. Even if it's small, every step forward is building momentum. Because control doesn't come from waiting, it comes from moving. But remember this, making more money won't save you if you don't know how to manage it. We all know people who earn a lot and still live paycheck to paycheck. So the next step is saving. And saving isn't glamorous, it doesn't feel exciting, but it is powerful. Saving says, I am creating space between me and chaos. Because life will test you. The car will break down, the emergency will happen, the bill will come. And when it does, you will either panic or you will be prepared. Saving takes you out of panic mode. Saving is you telling your future self, I've got you. You don't have to stress. You don't have to suffer. I thought ahead for you. And listen, saving doesn't start when you suddenly have extra money. That's the lie people tell themselves. They say, I'll save when I earn more. But if you can't save when you make a little, you won't save when you make a lot. Saving isn't about the amount. It's about the habit. Even if it's $5 a week, you're building a muscle. And that muscle grows stronger every time you use it. Now, once you've built the habit of saving, you step into the most powerful phase, investing. And I get it. Investing feels intimidating. It feels risky. People hear the word and picture stock market crashes or losing everything. But let me tell you the bigger risk: doing nothing. Because if your money just sits in a savings account, it's losing value. Inflation eats it away slowly. And 20 years from now, that same dollar will buy you half of what it does today. Investing is about flipping the script. It's about saying, I don't just work for money. I make money work for me. It's about planting seeds and giving them time to grow into something greater. Maybe it's stocks. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe it's your own business. The vehicle can be different, but the principle is the same. You put your money to work. And when your money works for you, you create wealth. Wealth is not just numbers in a bank account. It's freedom, it's opportunity, it's security. And here's something I want you to understand. Taking control of your money doesn't mean you never make mistakes again. You will overspend sometimes. You will make an investment that doesn't pan out. You will feel like you're starting over more than once. But control isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about having a plan and sticking to it more often than you don't. It's about progress, not perfection. And the deeper truth is, money under control brings peace. It's not about greed. It's not about having more than everyone else. It's about being able to breathe. It's about knowing you can take care of your family. It's about being able to give generously without fear. It's about sleeping at night without that knot in your stomach because you're not sure how the bills will get paid. That peace is priceless. And it comes when you look at money and finally say, I'm the one in charge here. I'm deciding how this story ends. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if money stopped controlling you? What decisions would you make differently if you had clarity, ownership, savings, and investments working in your favor? What doors would open? What weight would lift off your shoulders? Because that life is possible. It's not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone who's willing to face the truth, take ownership, and commit to discipline. Money is a tool. That's all it is. It can build you up, or it can tear you down. It can free you, or it can chain you. The difference is not in the money itself. It's in who's holding the hammer. And the moment you decide to take control, that's the moment the hammer is back in your hands. That's the moment you stop living reactive, paycheck to paycheck, and start living intentional with confidence and peace. Because at the end of the day, the question is simple: will you control your money, or will you let it control you?